Here we are, hitting up events, drinking our way through Chicago beer, and trying not to miss a thing.
Yeah, because, the cork popped out, boom, it flies like fucking 10 feet. We're like, yeah, let's do it.
All you have to do is add some fruit, stir it up, and ride that milk-shaped wave.
Whenever I see him, I gotta take a photo with the most decorated brewer in Chicago, Jonathan Cutler.
It'll be like the stuff you hear. You ever go to, every time you go to Floyd's, all the music sounds like this. Raw, raw, raw.
Sometimes you want a small beer, but really, you want a big beer.
You gotta take in all those big aromatic hops.
Hey, what are you doing this weekend? Waiting in line for a bottle release?
You should have never been a fad. The black IPA is delicious.
Hey, and welcome to Chicago Beer Pass. I'm Brad Chmielewski.
Brad, what's up, man? I'm Nik White.
We need to get through this Oktoberfest season because our table is getting crowded here.
I mean, it's cute though, Brad, because there's like 4 or 5 different styles of Oktoberfest vessels. The beers are piling up. I'm finally coming around.
I have a lot more in the fridge. Not glasses, but a lot more beers that we haven't even gone through. I got the Pinktober from Twisted Hippo still.
That's a good one. That's
I
a
got
good name.
the Foxtober from Fox Republic Brewing. I got the Temperance Oktoberfest, another one. So
Staghorn, which I don't understand from New Glarus, is I like the name Staghorn. It's fine. I don't think it's better than Pinktober or Foxtober though.
in name,
Yeah,
sure.
those are good.
Yeah, those are good names.
Those are pretty good names.
But right now we're drinking Hopewell's Oktoberfest. This was one of our favorites last year or 2 years ago,
Right.
and it's tasty.
I think a couple of years ago, I think we picked it number 1 because Hopewell just delivers, man.
But right now, our first sips, it's on the sweeter side, right? It comes back, but
No doubt about it. It goes over the edge. What did we have last week? Maybe it was Printer's Row that went over. It went over the edge of sweetness for us.
okay.
You don't really want that, cereal. You talk about that milk at the end of the bowl of the cereal. You don't want that feeling. This Hopewell thing gets to that edge and goes over it a little bit, but the way they carbonated it or the way it finishes, it's almost like the sweetness is coming back down.
Right.
It does a lot on the palate.
Right, but it doesn't feel like a beer that you want to have with a pretzel in one hand and this Oktoberfest in the other. They're not like I'm getting like this is maybe my end of night Oktoberfest.
Yeah, you prefer something a little more restrained if you're having it with the sausage or the cheeses or the pretzel.
Yeah.
It reminds me of a little bit of one year Haymarket had an Oktoberfest and it was at Festivale. This Oktoberfest was 7.2.
Oh shit.
And I'm like, why? What is happening? Like, why? But some people think, hey, let's just do a slightly bigger version of what people are expecting.
Right.
So,
and then on the table we've got a gift my sister-in-law sent. We got a Pliny.
yeah, man. Cheers to her. She's doing good work, the Lord's work, if I may. This is Pliny the Elder. Brad, it's less than a month old.
Yeah.
That's pretty good shit. Yeah, because we're in Chicago, man. We're in the flatlands. There ain't no mountains, and there ain't no Russian River.
Right.
So
to get month-old Pliny, not too shabby.
I'm telling you, man, it's a pretty good
I
Thursday.
got Oktoberfest that are older than this. But we're drinking out of some fun Goose Island glasses, too, that I pulled out of the cabinet. I have the 2010 Craft Brewers Goose Island. Well, not the pint glass, right?
like a
mini pint.
Yeah, it's like a taster glass, like a mini Nonic pint, right? Because it's got the, it protrudes at the top and you can hold
bump.
it. Yeah, it's got the bump. Yeah. And I got the Goose Island 15-year Wrigleyville glass. These are deep cuts, man.
Wrigleyville.
Dude, rest in peace, Goose Wrigleyville.
I feel like at some point that just feels like a Chicago flex to be like, yeah, I drank at Goose Island, Wrigleyville.
Yeah.
Like, that's how you're from Chicago.
Seriously.
Maybe not yet, but soon.
Yeah, because I remember the night they closed, and I remember doing Oktoberfest there because Clybourne couldn't do Oktoberfest because Goose Wrigley had the patio.
Okay.
And then the Cubby Blue, of course, was at Goose Wrigley.
Yeah, which they have the Cubby Blue at
Well, now they do. Yeah.
at the
Salt Shed.
Salt Shed. Not the same. So they don't give you. They don't put blueberries in it.
And I kind of prefer, I kind of like it, I kind of prefer it just, I prefer it be retired because you don't have Wrigley anymore.
Right.
I prefer to just drink it there, but, these are fun, man. These are fun glasses.
Yeah.
At 2010 Brewers Conference, you guys did a documentary.
Right.
That was one of the first documentaries I had watched in beer, was that one.
Symposium Ale, where it was brewed by a lot of the brewers in Chicago. Goose Island blended it. It was kind of a riff on Bourbon County Stout.
So Craft Brewers Conference 2010, probably the last time it was here, maybe being the only time it was here.
Possibly.
Yeah. So is that full blown Hopcast when you do stuff like that?
Yeah.
Is it you, Maeve,
That was a
and Ken,
Hopcast
Honey
thing,
Money?
yeah.
Nice. That was pretty good shit.
We were all over the place.
Yeah.
That was pre-Ken working at Goose Island, too.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that's a throwback, man. Yeah. I think a lot of people who didn't really understand beer saw stuff like that and probably got into beer. So yeah, that's pretty good shit.
Which is a good segue into Sean Curry over at Sketchbook. Sent us a message. Sort of correcting us or
For sure.
attempting to correct Nick.
Offering
Suggestions.
offering suggestions, and we welcome all suggestions.
Right.
We are not the be all end all. In fact, we like conversations more than we do like spitting facts.
So he told us that Saison does not mean season.
Yes.
It's supposed to be house, like a house beer brewed in the farms, in the barn, open fermented, yada, yada, yada. But Nick was quick to point out he did not say Saison was a season beer. Mm-hmm. It was French for season.
Saison is French for season. Yeah.
Right. For the word. The word
Saison
Saison.
is French for season. And the way I always understood it from whatever event was that it's associated to these farmhouse brewers, whatever they had in season, that's what they put in their beer. And that kind of explained the range of flavors in Saisons. That's my understanding of beer, just based on whatever fucking party I went to.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then, so that kind of led us down a quick little Google search Wikipedia thing on who's right here. And we're kind of, so there's farmhouse beer, there's a Saison,
Yes.
and there's a Bière de Garde. Mm-hmm. They are all kind of the same.
And you pointed out that, and I didn't know this. I knew that, thanks to Off Color, because they had a beer that I think it was French for Thunderstorm. It was a French recipe that used Belgian yeast or something, and they always talked about the France and Belgium border. So I know they border each other. Mm-hmm. But you pointed out that the France-Belgium region is kind of like they consider themselves their own region in some cases, but then also a Bière de Garde is a French version of the Saison.
Or the other way.
Well, because Saison is the Belgian.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So.
And it's beer for keeping, which was maltier, kind of, I guess almost like, I don't want to say bigger beer, but beer that was for later. So brewed and then, like similar to a lot of the beers, like the barrel-aged beers, or the beers like the Fest beers are shorter life, brewed earlier in the season.
Yeah, some guys brag about how they lager these beers. They're Oktoberfest lagers for months, fucking 12 weeks. I've heard Dovetail talk about that extensively, like, we've been lagering this since June.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
So the Bière de Gardes are usually a little, I won't say bigger, just maltier and richer than the Saisons. And then the farmhouses are often just more of that, like, barnyard, funky, I don't know, like, farmy aroma, right? I don't know, like, a tough thing to say, but barnyard.
You hear horse blanket a lot.
Right.
The Is-West guys will tell you the Saisons are defined by the Saison yeast. But then, there's these other flavors, like the ones you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little, sometimes they're acidic. Sometimes they're funky. Sometimes it just tastes like wild beer sometimes.
Right. So I think Saison and farmhouse often get interchanged sometimes, but farmhouse, as we usually see it, are a little more wild than the Saisons, right?
Yeah, you're probably right. Well, obviously I think it's Sophie, right? And I don't think Sophie's out of control. But I think, yeah, like this thing I had at Junior, and they called themselves a Vineyard Farmhouse Ale. It had a lot going on.
Okay.
Like it wasn't trying to be, it wasn't trying to just be this neat put together experience. It was like, hey, this is very expressive. So I think that's what you're saying.
Yeah, it's just like you're expecting more from your farmhouse typically than from your saison, which is I usually find them a little more mellow.
Yeah.
I almost want to say like more carbonated or more bubbly, like just.
Are there some other examples of local saisons that we can think of offhand? Because I feel like I've had a saison enough color, but I couldn't tell you the name of it, right? And I go to Sophie a lot, but I know there's other versions of a local saison, right? I'm just drawing a blank, but
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank too. I know we talked about bearded guards, and we kind of joke all the time that Cruz Blanca had multiple bearded guards.
their debut year they had at least 3
Like, yeah, and I
bearded
was like, I
guards.
don't need this many bearded guards.
Oh, the off-color saison is Apex Predator.
Okay, that makes sense. So, yeah. So, we're right, and Curry's right?
Curry's right, because saisons are made in houses. They're made in farmhouses.
Right.
So if you say
Well,
saison,
every beer is made in the house.
I mean, but like a farmhouse is the actual house where people are staying. It's like they're raising their family and all this kind of shit. People aren't necessarily. They could be, but in most cases, breweries are not like homes to like families and shit.
Okay. So, a little education before we get in here.
I like it, man. I like it.
Yeah.
This kind of shit we fuss over, man. And when you're at the bar or when you're at a fest, because beer is to be fussed over. I think that's the whole point of the craft segment. Let's kind of fuss over this stuff.
But if you don't like a saison, you're probably not gonna like a farmhouse. You're not gonna like a bearded guard. Just like if you don't like a IPA, you're probably not gonna like a West Coast pale or
You
a
sure won't like a
hazy.
double IPA.
Yeah, you're not gonna like a double. Definitely gonna hate that triple IPA. It's not triple. It's triple bad for you. But
Who was that said no double oaked? Was it double? No, double barrel.
yeah.
I think. Never mind. There's a story but it was like that.
Okay,
It's like, yo, we can't. What's double barrel? Oh, you gotta get it. It's like, it's like it'll get you double fucked up. But double barrel is not a very big beer, so it's kind of funny because the one from Firestone.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not like a double IPA. It's not twice as many. It's twice as many barrels, but it's not twice as strong, right?
Right.
It's not like a double Bourbon County.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. We're on the same page. Let's move on
Okay.
to what we made it to this past week. And I know we're talking about Sketchbook, and I was over at Temperance.
Right on.
Saying goodbye.
Man, it's so hard to say goodbye.
It was fine.
Evanston, man. Evanston's down to one brewery, man. I think Double Clutch.
Yeah. Or no, two. They got Sketchbook.
Shit. Shout out to Sketchbook. I do like Sketchbook a lot. Because I always go to Skokie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I always go Skokie. They have their roots in Evanston. I don't know if they would ever get rid of that, but talking to friends in Evanston and hearing about Temperance leaving, I think it's hard being a business in Evanston. They tax the businesses quite a bit. There's a lot of empty storefronts. It's just hard to maintain a footprint there for some people.
Up in Rogers Park, one of our favorite Benny's is up in Evanston, and yeah, the bags are pricier. The taxes in Evanston,
Yeah.
are the taxes in Evanston are more. You go there, you get your favorite bottle. It would cost you more than if you got it in Chicago.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's just wrong.
it's fucked up. I don't like it.
But Temperance went there on, what was it, Sunday? Biked up there. Electric bike.
Nice.
So a little easier ride. Packed. It was packed.
I mean, I think this one is right up there with Metro as far as like people being disappointed.
Yeah.
Out of all the closings, the ones that people are most disappointed about, probably Sketchbook and Metro.
Yeah, I would guess it was maybe 80% knew that they were closing. And the other 20 were just like, I'd come here on Sundays kind
Yeah,
of thing.
this is my day.
Yeah.
You know, we're playing spades. We're shooting dice.
Yeah,
We
they
shoot
had-
dice on
I'm
Sundays.
here for trivia. There's trivia Sundays. They had trivia going. They still had trivia going. It's like, you guys are still doing trivia? All right. Busy. Only plastic cups. No glassware. Everything's going on with plastic cups. I guess, get rid of the plastic cups. Either we're throwing them out or we'll use them and throw them out.
Brad, if you're a brewery and you're open for business, you should have cups. You should have proper fucking cups, man. What are we doing here?
They don't want to buy soap.
Yeah, we had a meeting and we decided, we're not reloading the soap.
That's why we shut down. We're like, our soap just not working out.
Y'all gotta have cups, man. Y'all gotta have fancy cups.
And like, we don't have someone to go clean up your glass when you break it.
Oh, man.
That's it. So only plastic cups, which limits fun pictures. But I did post a picture of the plastic cups.
Yes.
I ended up having the Temperance Light, which is their like light lager, which was pretty good.
Okay.
I had might have Oktoberfest, had a kombucha, non-alcoholic kombucha that was good. Got a Beechwood or
I think it is Beechwood Blonde.
Yeah, the pineapple beer.
Yeah.
And
They use whoever makes the Chiquita bananas, they make pineapple.
yeah,
Remember, because when we went to show, the Chiquita banana lady is on the pineapple barrel.
Had to try it one last time. I feel like that's a beer that will be kind of missed. And then Beach Party, or not Beach Party, Basement Party.
I learned about Basement Party from you.
Yeah.
And I think Basement Party is a super fun beer.
Sketchbook should just get that recipe and keep Basement Party going.
When you read their farewell message, it sounds like they don't plan on stopping production. They just won't be doing it there.
Right.
They're just going to try to find another home for production, and they're done being a brewery.
What, Haymarket in Michigan?
Right? I mean, Haymarket is, all the cool kids are brewing at Haymarket. So.
Not Haymarket. So that was my one stop. It was nice. They didn't have any Oktoberfest glasses to go, which were Steins to buy. They had a lot of glassware.
Last year they did we didn't get to drink out of them, but they had
rope.
it was braided. Yeah. They looked pretty neat.
Lots of merch. My buddy got a Basement Party slip mat for his turntable.
Oh, they do slip mats at Basement Party?
Yeah.
Nice.
You should grab one of those.
Yeah, I think Basement Party, because there was a right meets right. God damn it, might meets right party.
Mm-hmm.
It was like in the middle of the week a couple years ago, and one of the guys from the distro, he had on a Saint Bernardus like a stitched jacket, and I love Saint Bernardus. It's my favorite Christmas ale.
Yeah.
So we were talking, and he was like, "Yeah, that hop. There's not all that hop is it's a Saaz hop, that classic German hop.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't call it Saaz when they grow it in America.
Oh.
But they get it from a Midwest farm, and it's basically Saaz hops grown in America, and that's their feature hop in that beer.
Interesting.
That beer is really good.
Yeah. It technically should have been coming out about now. So it'll be interesting if there are cans of that in the store even after Temperance shuts down, because how long ago did they know that to put it in the barrels? What does that kind of look like, right?
I want to do a head to head, like Basement Party and Cold Time. Cold Time's like the measuring stick. Do I like this more or less than Cold Time?
Okay.
Yeah.
So get up there and get your Basement Party before it's
I
gone.
think that's a good. You've convinced me. This is what I need to do.
Okay.
So
So we got the Temperance Oktoberfest to drink on our lineup when Sergio joins us in a couple weeks as we finally end this Oktoberfest run.
as we the tone.
We can
Brad.
drink something else besides Oktoberfest. When I was at Temperance, I was like, oh, I should pick up something else. I was like, no, I gotta get the Oktoberfest.
We won't have all the Oktoberfest otherwise.
Right.
Yeah. But if you scale it back and just say, hey, it's a tight 7. I mean, we do what we can.
Everyone can't make the lineup. I haven't made it to the sketchbook. They're not going to be in this lineup.
I think
Goose, Zombie Metro.
all the ones we've had, I think Scarecrows and OIB and those Hopewell ones have all been pretty good. That Staghorn's pretty good. But yeah,
It's gonna be a tight lineup. It's gonna be a tight fight.
it changes once you have them all in a row.
Yeah.
Your opinion changes, but just offhand, those are the ones that really jump out.
Okay, that was my stop, and then Nick, he made it far south, Indiana.
Not quite Indiana, but not far.
Okay.
Not far from Indiana. You take 94, 94 runs out, and then it splits. No, 94 is just splits. You could keep going on 94, or you could take 57.
Yeah.
So you take 94 to 57, you get off at 147th Street, you take that down to 183rd Street, now you're in downtown Homewood at the Homewood Brewing Company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is
Home Sweet Homewood is what the water tower says.
Homewood's town?
It is a town, it is a Cook County, suburban Chicago town.
Not a neighborhood in Chicago.
Not a neighborhood in Chicago. No,
Okay.
it's a suburb, I would say 20 miles south of Chicago. So you can take the Metro Electric line from Millennium Park. You can go past Argus on 115th Street. Well, what used to be Argus.
Right.
You keep,
Which was still a city.
you're still in Chicago. Now you can take that train and leave Chicago, get off in Homewood, and you're walking distance from downtown Homewood.
Is Flossmoor next?
Yes, Homewood and Flossmoor are back to back, and the high school is called Homewood Flossmoor. When I was growing up, they were the only. Because I'm from the South Burbs, I went to Hillcrest in a neighboring suburb. Oh, but Homewood was the only high school. Homewood Flossmoor, the only high school that had an ice rink.
Oh, okay.
Was Homewood Flossmoor, and it was the only high school that had a radio station.
Oh, okay.
Like pretty big radio station. Like they broadcast like all through the South Burbs. So yeah, Homewood Flossmoor, man. I went out there to check out Homewood Flossmoor Brewing. No, Homewood
Brewing.
Homewood Brewing Company.
You didn't go over to Flossmoor too?
To Flossmoor Station. No, that's what I could have done. But from my place.
How do you think that's all? Like, not to
No, but seriously, this is a fair
stare
question.
this up, how do you think Flossmoor Station is still around?
I think Homewood Brewing Company is eating their lunch. Well, yeah, I mean,
Do they have food?
they do have food.
Oh, then yeah. Flossmoor Station, done.
Yeah, but it would have been cool. And I was thinking on the way out there, I'm like, well, damn, where else can I go? I just got pissed I couldn't go to Three Floyds, right? Because that's the obvious thing, right? You go to Three Floyds. Three Floyds ain't far from there. You can't go to Three Floyds. It's still ain't no brewing. Oh, so I'm like, I just got pissed. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go home after this. Yeah, this place, man. We talk about. I think. Well, this is a female-owned brewery. It's Juice WRLD's mom, and Juice WRLD was a
The rapper?
yeah, Juice WRLD the rapper. This is kind of a memorial to him. I'm still unclear on how they ended up on a brewing project because Juice WRLD was like, he was a rapper.
Is he from Homewood?
He's from the South Burbs.
Yeah, I know he's from the South Burbs.
But is he from Homewood specifically? I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, but he's a local kid.
Yeah.
From somewhere around here. Yeah, so the first beer on the menu is like, hey, you can buy this and it benefits this nonprofit that's for mental health.
Okay.
So, and then there's a lot of artwork. I think it's some of Juice WRLD's favorite artists, and there's a ton of artwork all through this place, a ton of plants all through this place. It's a really cool setup. If I had to describe it, man, I describe it, it's kind of like if you've ever been to Pilot Project Milwaukee or Italy downtown or or Rock Bottom. Just aesthetically, the building, it's just like this big glass, kind of this big glass and like concrete structure.
Okay.
That's like really versatile. It's a kind of space that you could have events in, right?
Altar.
Or Altar. That's a good one. Altar.
Yeah, right.
Altar in Oak Brook, Ike and Oak. You've been there.
Yeah.
It feels like those places where it's all kind of glass, steel, and concrete. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's 2 floors, so they got a patio out front, and then they got another rooftop patio up top, and then they got some event spaces. They got arcade games. They got 2 bars, one bar upstairs, one bar downstairs, and then the main bar, and then the brew house is behind the main bar.
That does seem big.
It's a huge space. They got parking in the back.
Okay.
This was an old steakhouse, Bogart's Steakhouse, and then I think they tore that down, and this is a whole new build. The guys, when I went to the Pilot Project event, the architect was there, and he said, yeah, this was a labor of love, man. This was a passion project, not a labor of love. Passion project. So it's about $5 million.
No.
So this is one of the more expensive build outs in the Chicagoland area.
Damn.
Yeah,
Okay.
because they really didn't want to spare any expense. They wanted it to be really good.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool space, actually. You know, yeah, it feels nice in there. So, you know, we're having some beers, and I'm just like, let me get this Oktoberfest. I'm like, yo, I guess I'm getting the Oktoberfest, and I think Shalonda got the pale ale, and then we looked at each other. We're like, oh shit, it doesn't even suck.
They're good?
I'm like, because my expectation was my last brewery, the Pho Brewery.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is it better or worse than the Pho Brewery?
I forgot that you went there. I didn't even put it in the description because I forgot. I told Maeve that you went.
Yeah.
She's like, huh?
It's so fucking weird. It's just a weird thing to say. Especially because it's like, it ain't really that far from here. I'm like, dude, how come no one has said anything about this place? It was weird. Oh, but yo, so we had these beers, and I'm like, man, these beers do not suck, man. You know, first impression, I'm like, this beer is pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they had a collab with Flipside. So it was a stout with vanilla and chicory. So I got that, and I think she got like a kettle sour with mango. And I'm like, dude, I don't know if it's because I've been in my car for an hour, but these beers are pretty good. It was pretty fucking good. It was all very good. What was I gonna say? Oh, so the brewmaster, you look him up. His name's Cam Horn. He's the guy who he launched the Elmhurst project, Elmhurst Brewing Company.
Oh.
So he was the head brewer at Elmhurst when they opened, and he was there for 7 years.
Okay.
And before that, he worked as at a brewery in Texas.
Okay.
So he's the guy that is brewing the
So
beers.
he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. So you know,
Sort of like the Ike and Oak guy.
that's right. He was at he came from Beta Brow, and Beta Brow poached him from Lagunitas, and before that he was at Two Brothers.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Where you're just like this. You're out of nowhere, but you have the history, and you're making great beer.
Yeah. So it was so I think it's all falling into place for these guys. I didn't really try the food because I went to Taco Teclan before I went. You know, I'm like, shit, I'm gonna be in the car for an hour. But I would go back and try the food. It's like all Creole stuff. It's kind of like a Creole seafood place.
Interesting.
When you look at all the stuff on the menu, I'm like, that's what it is. It's kid friendly. Lot of artwork and really high ceilings.
Okay.
And a lot of bright light. I think it's gonna be cool in the daytime. It's a good natural light that comes in that place.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know the logistics behind a lot of breweries, but this is a female-owned brewery. You know,
That's
it's
cool.
Juice WRLD's mom. I'm like, shit, I don't really know a lot of female-owned breweries, and you know,
Eris.
see, short list. So
That's it. One. No.
so yeah, I think they got 13 beers on draft, and what else? I think that's it, man. Oh, and all the art, and this is kind of common. All the art's available for purchase.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah. I had a good time, man.
But this, I feel like I saw people talking about this. It had been planned for a while because people were like, finally it's open, or like,
Yeah.
it was like, oh yeah, I can't believe it came together. Like that has this been in the works for a long time?
I don't know if you remember. We were at you were there. This was the last Oak Park we went to.
Okay.
And I think it rained it rains all the fucking time at that party.
3 years ago.
Yeah, they were there. One of the guys was there, and he was talking about this project, and he was hanging out with Pete Crowley. I think Pete was kind of a consultant for him at this thing, and that's the impression I gathered. He had on the work shirt for Homewood, and then he was handing out cards and shit, but they didn't have any beer at that time.
Okay.
But do you know the name Homewood because it's if you're from from the South Burbs, you know that suburb.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been at least 3 years in the making.
Okay.
And then I think Vicky from she was the Buckle Down crew at the time. Vicky kind of made the introduction, and she's like, "Yeah, this is Juice WRLD's brother, and he's opening a brewery."
Okay.
And I still haven't gotten to the bottom of that connection, right? Like, okay, so there's a just sidebar. There's a documentary on HBO about Juice WRLD, right? And when I only know like one Juice WRLD song, but when you look at his streaming numbers, it was like he's like Taylor Swift, Beyonce.
I think he's on an Eminem track.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like, he's on
Fucking
tracks.
Eminem, and then be honest, and Taylor, and then him, and Drake, and then him. He's like top 5 in streaming when he was alive, right? You know, I think he's top 20 all time in streaming, right? So he had a really huge following, like a following that you wouldn't think he had when you list the people above him on this list. It was just a very strange phenomenon. You know, he was one of those guys where, you know, he talks about, you know, crying and doing drugs.
Sure.
And that's, you know, I'm an old motherfucker, so that's all that sound like to me. Like, oh, you guys are really good at crying and doing drugs. That's cool.
I think
he connected with people though,
Yeah.
so that I wasn't making fun of, you know, his audience.
knowing that one had been in the works for a while, I think I often got confused about Homewood, and I think there's Englewood Brewing. Wasn't there?
Well, yeah, Englewood, which was basically a T-shirt company. They never got off the ground.
Right, and that was like constantly. So I think hearing the two, I often thought of them the same because they were these breweries that were like, I don't know, is that ever gonna happen?
If you have no connection to those areas, right?
Yeah.
And you hear Englewood and Homewood, you could confuse the two.
Yeah.
You're like, they're both south. They both have wood in the name.
That was kind of my.
And
like,
they're both not open.
I can't go to them. I don't even know how to get there.
You're
so.
right. Englewood did have a similar path. I think Englewood started keeping their brewing equipment at another brewery, and then Englewood just decided that they just weren't going to open.
Okay.
Yeah, and Englewood is a neighborhood in Chicago.
Right.
Englewood is city proper. If I'm guessing, I'd say like 63rd and Cottage. If you're in 63rd and Cottage,
So not even that far.
no. So you were in Englewood at that point.
Okay.
63rd and Halstead,
Yeah.
right? I think you were in Englewood. But yeah, Homewood though, it's a totally different animal. 183rd.
Okay.
So you're 183rd and Halstead. You're in Homewood.
Okay. So if you're out at Homewood or you want to go to Homewood, you go there. You got Flossmoor. You got Buckledown. That's not really that far.
Oh no, man. I think now this is the conversation we were having in reverse because Buckledown is like closer to.
Oh, that's
like
too far.
it's too closer to like Midway. So Buckledown's more like
Right. Three Floyds would be closer
Three Floyds would be closer.
because I've biked from Three Floyds to Flossmoor before.
Yeah. So if you're out there now, so now we're naming all the breweries that closed. Horse Thief Hollow, not Horse Thief Hollow, One Trick Pony, Three Floyds. If you're that far south, yeah, what else is over there? Because you're pretty far south.
Okay. I'm sure there's a couple other Indiana border breweries there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a friend of a friend who lives like just across the border over that way. So.
We're missing something, and it's like an obvious one too. I just can't put my finger on it right now. Yeah. But you don't want to get caught up in, like, so one time we were at Brothership, and we were thinking, oh, but you could probably go to like 18th Street if you're over that way.
Okay.
You know, because that's in like Hammond, Indiana, and Homewood's pretty far east. But we got into, let's go from Brothership, which is in Frankfurt, to 18th Street, and then we were like, oh shit, this is not close at all.
That's like your workforce to
Exactly.
Monroe or art history.
Art history, yes. If you're at Brothership and you go to 18th Street, this is from a distance you would think they're close, but they're not. It's just like what you just said.
Okay.
With
Workforce to art history.
I'm like, I'm already out here. No, wrong. You're gonna be in the car for 40 minutes, pal.
Okay. That's pretty awesome. I don't know when I'd make it to Homewood, but knowing they have food kind of is like an added benefit.
Oh,
go there.
Blue Island.
Oh, Blue Island.
Coming back, you could stop at Blue Island.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Blue Island.
Yeah, and if you're really feeling frisky, I feel like you should try the food at Maple Tree Inn, which was always south.
That's gone.
No, they relocated.
Oh, they relocated.
They relocated.
Okay.
They were by Blue Island. They moved a little further south.
Okay.
But that would be a good comparison too. Like, those are both Creole, kind of Southern New Orleans inspired food. Maple Tree Inn and this Homewood Brewing Company. I'm kind of curious to know, hey, if I'm out that way, who do I like more in that lane? You know.
Interesting. Okay.
But yeah, that could be the romp. You would do
Yeah.
Homewood Flossmoor Brewing, you'd Homewood Brewing, and on the way back, you could go to Blue Island. I knew we were forgetting one.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I think them having food is definitely a bigger draw. I know we've talked about this multiple episodes now that not having food is hurting you in today's space.
Yeah.
Places like Sketchbook, They're winning because of their outdoor space. I don't know how it looks in the winter. I've never been there in the winter. I'm sure a lot of other people have never been there in the winter because it's a place you want to go to in the summertime because of the outdoor space. And them not having food. A lot of these other places without food, like the On Tours. I haven't gone on tour in a couple of years.
I'd love to go on tour.
Doesn't have food.
That's true.
Why am I going to on tour? It's a bar. Like a brewery without a food now is a bar. Do I want to go to the bar on the corner, or do I want to go to a bar that I gotta now drive to?
What's the bar? TNA.
TNA 2.
You can go to TNA 2.
I go to TNA 2. They probably have pretzels and chips, some popcorn or something.
You know, I mean.
So yeah,
I think
Homewood
you're right.
having food. That's.
I had my eye on all the food that came out, and
Right.
I'm like, shit, man. If we didn't smash these quesadillas on the way down, I probably would have got some food.
Not even a little app.
No, we were stuffed.
Okay.
Yeah, we were stuffed.
Newest brewery opening in the Chicagoland area.
Chicagoland's newest brewery.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. We lose one, we gain one.
It seems that way. Yeah. It's rough out here. Good for them. There's a good amount of folks in there, and I think they're kind of drawing people that might know. Like, I think Shalana had bought some sneakers from a reseller. At this guy shows up in a WrestleMania hoodie.
Okay.
And, he's like, yeah, I live in South Holland. I had to come out. You should go say hi to the mom because Juice WRLD's mom was there. She's the owner. She's kind of hanging out at the host stand.
Oh, that's cool.
And she's like, and he was super excited about it. I mean, because I feel like you said, once you got food and you got beer, now you're kid friendly. They have a kid menu, and then they got a full cocktail menu. So kudos to them. So they're really trying to be like, listen, man, we understand. Like I think Shalana was telling me her granddad's favorite steakhouse was this Bogart's place.
Oh, okay.
So this is downtown, kind of Main Street, Homewood. So if you're somebody who just wants to go somewhere and take everybody, I think they're playing in that space.
Yeah.
Right. Where they got everything. They got arcade games. They got fucking beer, cocktails, wine, and fucking kid menu.
And we said before, the suburban, restaurant scene and places have gotten way better over the years. You used to have to come into the city if you wanted beer, you wanted food. We're now going out to the suburbs because it's just as good. And when a town opens up with a spot, everyone around there is like, yeah, let's do it. Besides Evanston, but
I knew this was going to throw shade at some point. This little
Temperance made it 13 years, 11 years,
at least 10.
It's 11 or 13. That's a good run. Kudos to them.
Yeah.
They succeeded. No fault to them. They made it. That's
Silver medal in English IPA.
Yeah. So.
Nothing to sneeze at.
No.
Nothing to sneeze at.
So people supporting local spots, I think.
But you're right. There's the gap that was between you could have a shitty experience in the city and a shitty experience in the suburbs. But the gap where you just assume everything in the city is like infinitely better than the suburbs, that might not be necessarily true. You can go to the suburbs and get some really good shit.
Yeah.
Like my favorite examples of that was Three Floors when they were open. I wish they fucking open. Oh, but Phase 3. Phase 3 is a good example of that for me. I go to Elmhurst, I go to Phase 3. Mm-hmm. Their beer and their food's really good to me. So.
Yeah. Cool. So one place, that's hilarious that you went to the newest place. I went to the place that's closing.
Oh yeah, when you put it in that light, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but Nick's out here checking out the new spots for Brewing, Homewood.
For Brewing, man, I was like, "Where's the brew house?" He's like, "It's right there."
That's the pot my foot came in.
I was like, "How big is the system?" He was like, "It's 2 barrels, and we got 4 barrel fermenters." I'm like, "Yo, the more you think you know, the more you know you don't know shit, man." This is great. This is pretty funny, man.
Oh, funny. What else do we have? So you had a funny story about you can't drink alcohol on Montrose.
Bruh, this story blew me, man. So I'm in my car a lot. I know you guys heard me talk about that a lot, man. And there's this podcast from Cranes called The Daily Gist.
Okay.
And most of the time they just talk about like news in the home market. Like this this super cool story about this house in Wilmette or this change in the law in Hinsdale or whatever.
Michael Jordan's house sold.
It's shit like that, right? Yeah. So, but this time they were talking about a Mexican restaurant in Lincoln Square that was trying to get a liquor license and they couldn't. And they were like, "Why can't you get a liquor license?" It's like, "Oh, because there's been a ban since 1907." So then the reporter digs into this ban and kind of find out the reason there's a ban is because in in 1907, Anheuser-Busch tried to open an amusement park and a beer garden in what is now Wells Park. So Wells Park, for people listening, was like the last time Chicago Craft Beer Week had a closing event.
Was there?
It was at Wells Park. So this is
Bulldog there.
Bulldog was there.
Bulldog.
Oh, it was Bold.
Right? Wasn't it Bulldog?
You're right. It was Bulldog. Yeah. Rest in peace, Bulldog. They used to be Sam Adams' Brewery of the Year.
Yeah. Whatever. Sam Adams' friends. I don't know.
What were we gonna say? Oh, so Wells Park is basically like Western and Montrose. Shout out to Spiteful because they had a long line for their Malevolence chocolate stout that day, and it was super fun to see that. Oh, but Wells Park is where they were gonna have this amusement park. For it was basically Anheuser-Busch satellite tap room for Budweiser.
Okay. And this is around the time of the other amusement park that was on Western and Belmont.
Yeah. So Riverview Park, and all they talked about was how the residents of now to frame it properly. Ravenswood was a suburb at one point in Chicago. It wasn't part of the city. Mm-hmm. So this might be like 20 years before this. So, it's kind of an affluent area. And Ravenswood is like, yo, if we do this, it's going to look just like Riverwood. It's going to look just like Riverview.
Right. They had to build Western to go over Belmont.
There was a bridge. There's a bridge at Belmont at Western.
Because the traffic would back up on Western so far.
There's live music, there's bands, there's a beer garden, they're partying all night. They're getting fucked up in the middle of the street. It's debauchery, according to the folks in Ravenswood. It's debauchery. We can have no parts of that.
Yeah.
So, the temperance, I think this got to be post-prohibition, but there's still kind of these temperance ideals in the space. And they're like, listen, let's just put up a ban, because they got annexed to the city, so that two things, you get city resources when you become a part of the city. But then also, if there's an influx of immigrants, then, now Ravenswood's part of the city, so the immigrants are going to go to this new part of the city too, especially if there's a brand new fucking outdoor beer garden.
They love to drink.
So the thought was a lot of these bans were temperance driven. They said, hey, let's put up a ban alcohol, and that'll keep I think it was like German immigrants out of our. We don't want our neighborhood to change.
Can't have those Germans. No.
We don't want our neighborhood to change, so let's put up an alcohol ban.
Okay.
And this alcohol ban exists until this day.
But just like a 3-block?
It's a 3-block radius. I wrote some of this shit down.
Chicago blocks or like?
Dude, it's like fucking Damon and Montrose. There's a 3-block radius from Montrose to like Damon to Western, where
That's not even that far. That's the park. That's the size of the park.
You cannot. It's BYOB, but you cannot sell liquor in this 3-block radius.
But that's literally the size of the park. Like, there's nothing. Is that why there's nothing like?
Well, I like. There's a soul food joint over there, Luella's, but Luella's is BYOB, and this is like on Lincoln near Montrose. But I've never questioned it, but I can't. They don't sell booze. This Mexican restaurant, they have a homemade margarita recipe.
Okay.
And you can bring your tequila, but a lot of people see that and they like, man, I'm leaving.
I'll go next.
I'll go to
around the corner.
I'll go to a real fucking place.
Bad Apple's right there.
Yeah. So there's still an alcohol ban on this strip of Montrose and Lincoln Square. Ravenswood was a suburb. We talked about that. Oh, but it's on the ballot in November to be changed.
Okay.
So they just need 51% no vote to overturn the ban.
That's a confusing.
Yeah. So if you just don't care, it's on the ballot and it's like yes, no, or I don't care, or you just don't check it.
Just that neighborhood, though.
Just for that neighborhood, and also
that ward, probably.
Yeah, exactly for that.
So
ward.
it wasn't on my ballot because I already voted.
Right. It wouldn't be on. It would be for the people over there that live in that area. They got 2,500 signatures to get it on the ballot, and they're looking to get it overturned. But the reason there's a ban in Lincoln Square for 3 blocks is because of Anheuser-Busch.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we saw that this week. So
We could have had 2 amusement parks in the city at once.
man,
What a time.
can you imagine that? Because there is a bar called Riverview Tavern, and even on the logo, and maybe it's changed now, but even on the logo, it's got a Ferris wheel, and you go in, it's got a bunch of like decor and shit that kind of feels amusement parky, and I
Yeah.
never understood that. Or actually, I go get my car washed at Riverview Car Wash over there, right at I guess that would be Belmont and Western, right where it crosses Clybourne.
Yeah.
They have a nice early bird special. It's called Riverview, and they have the same thing with the fucking amusement park like imagery in the car wash.
Interesting.
I never bothered to think about why that was, but apparently it was like they really got it popping at fucking Riverview Park over there.
Well, yeah, I think that amusement park was running even during the last World's Fair that was here, like where that Devil in the White City, that book.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the movie. I thought there was a movie. I haven't.
Oh, I heard DiCaprio was going to be in the movie.
Yeah, I thought that was a movie.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see.
That book is insane. I'm like halfway through it. I'm like, this shit really happened?
Didn't some of it happen in Riverside at the amusement
At
park?
Riverview Tavern?
No, in the not tavern, in the amusement park. I thought
don't
they
know.
like mentioned the amusement park in the book.
I can believe that. I think that Devil
But
in the White.
I'm waiting for the movie.
Yeah. A lot of what I've gotten through so far, a lot of it is the World's Fair was at where Museum of Science and Industry
Yeah.
is. So like
Yeah.
like 55th. Yeah. I like High Park.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But shit.
Okay, interesting.
So
It probably gets overturned, right?
you would think. You would think. I mean, because a good example of like how old these laws are and how they are crazy until someone says something about them. One of the co-founders of Koval was a lobbyist, and there was a law saying that they couldn't be a distillery where Koval originally was, and part of the reason it got changed is because Koval lobbied for
Okay.
it. So, if it follows suit, then it's going to get changed.
Yeah.
And it probably should, right? I mean, these laws are antiquated.
Yeah, we just sometimes stuff gets lost in the shuffle of things, right? So it's like, oh, you can't have a liquor license here. I never thought about it. Oh,
We saw this before. Where there's a I think moratorium is what they call it, on Chicago Ave and Ashland, where Forbidden Root is.
yeah.
That was a movie theater, and they had to have I went to this town hall meeting. This is some real nerdy shit. Like, why am I at a town hall meeting about a brewery getting built in the middle of the winter? But they talked about that. They said, hey, man, this shit is old. We understand what you think about
They
having.
don't want a brewery in the neighborhood.
But the people who were there to support it came out in full force and said, hey, you got to change this law and lift this ban. The ban was on Chicago between these blocks.
And that probably goes back to some of the Anheuser-Busch or Schlitz stuff being like, we don't want a brewery here
Yeah.
to basically kind of take over the neighborhood.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So-
So, those kind of decisions
And the
shape.
German influence as we drink Oktoberfest.
Which is funny looking now. How ironic is it now? Because, there's a handful of German beer halls in Lincoln Square. I feel like I've been to a fest on Western in a big ass
There is Mayfest and Oktoberfest that happens
in Lincoln Square.
in Lincoln Square.
In Lincoln Square.
There was it wasn't Berghoff. What was it? It closed. Well, there's Gene Sausage, which is very German.
Yeah.
There was the other beer hall. Not Berghoff. What am I? Bader? No.
No, I know what you're talking about. It's on Irving. I'm thinking of the one on Irving.
No, the one that was in the square
Oh,
that closed a little before COVID.
okay.
Brauhaus.
Okay.
That was there. It was very German.
When I'm in Lincoln Square, I get big German vibes at some of these places.
Yeah, it was very German.
So it's wild as hell to me to think that.
They were
I
like-
think Germans got the last laugh
They were
there.
like, no Germans. We don't want the German immigrants moving
Yeah.
to Lincoln Square here. And
Yeah.
they did anyway.
Yeah.
Funny. Interesting. Well, man, a lot of knowledge being dropped in this episode. Man. All right, before we get out of here, we were talking about might reach right, but it's almost stout season. We got Goose Island's Bourbon County's coming out soon.
6 variants now instead of 5.
The sketchbook ones should be coming out soon
I
too.
mean, Mike Meat's right. Is a stout aged for a year, so it's got to be there, right? They had to have made it a year ago.
Yeah, but sketchbook ones, we got Deep Woods that started.
Oh, that's Temperance. Sorry. Yeah,
It's-
you're right.
right. It's stout season.
What's the sketchbook one called again?
I forget. We went to the party last
We
year.
did,
And
they
we were
got-
like, you should do mixed packs.
Yeah, like I don't want to commit to just one. You should do all
they're,
four.
they're very good.
What are they called? I could see the can too.
Influx or in. We are getting messaged about this.
For sure. Yeah.
But Deep Woods kicked
Sean
off.
Curry owes us a case of Orange Door IPA, by the way.
Yeah, Deep Woods started. Bourbon County's coming out. The sketchbook release. You got Old Irving's, like they have their Krampus stuff.
I'm trying to get back into that because I had that at Fobab one year,
Okay.
and I was just like, it could have been the time of the day, but I was out on it. There's a lot of wood.
Yeah. And you got Fobab coming up towards the end of November.
November 22nd and 23rd, right before Turkey Day.
So we're wrapping up end of October here.
Yeah.
You know, Oktoberfest season is coming to a close here.
You know, Brad, I was like, fuck this Oktoberfest and fuck fall. You know, I'm driving down the street today. Everything's orange, leaves everywhere. You know, hoodie weather, and like you said, winter is coming. So I'm really kind of embracing this little, you know.
You have to accept it. It can't.
Yeah,
It doesn't.
man, it's coming.
Yeah.
We don't give a fuck if you like it or not. It's coming.
Yeah.
But I really am embracing this portion of the transition.
Yeah.
From summer to winter. Fall is all right with me.
Right.
I'm into it.
With the fall thing, one more thing before we get out of here. I was at Target and I saw Pumpkin. There.
Man,
And then
you almost got it, didn't you?
I'm thinking, do I want a pumpkin beer? No one makes them anymore.
See?
Could someone make an Oktoberfest pumpkin? Like a pumpkin?
Like a
pumpkin
Punktober.
Well, that was...
Who did somebody name that? Somebody did that already?
Who was the
That's
people-
why it was so easy to say, because somebody did it.
Was it 350?
3 sheets?
No,
Oh, you're right.
350.
You're right. 350.
They had Punktober. We drank it on the show.
Yeah, we should find that picture.
I went out there. They were throwing pumpkins.
Punktober wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Wasn't bad.
I think I want a pumpkin beer.
I was running errands and saw, I don't know where I was. I saw, it's either a 6-pack or a 4-pack. It was $15 for the Pumpkin, and I almost pulled the trigger on the Pumpkin.
I just want one. I don't want I want 6. I don't want 4. I want one.
Side note, Delilah's used to buy 12 kegs of it and just tap one every month all year.
Right, because
One.
Delilah's and what's the bottom lounge? Same.
Yeah.
Bottom lounge would always have pumpkin. So.
You know, any Pumpkin, if you're feeling frisky, throw a shot of rum in that joint, some dark rum in there. You know, you have yourself a party, man.
Damn.
Shit, now I want some Pumpkin.
All right. Well, anything else before we get out of here? Or is that it?
Man, I think that's it, Brad.
Finished. We got a little Pliny
yeah.
left.
Yeah, man. Cheers to your in-laws for bringing Pliny from the
Yeah.
West Coast, man.
There's a blind pig in the fridge too.
Fucking A.
So maybe next time. All right. Take care.
Cheers.